Hi. Some weeks ago, SCIA Engineer version 21 was released, and this version got also a new graphical user interface. And in this video, I would like to explain the components of this new user interface. My name is Ivan Beleš. For the beginning, I have prepared one slide PowerPoint presentation to explain you the seven main components of the new user interface. So, first on the left top side, there is the main menu. In the main menu, you find almost all functions. Expect the functions to create something. For example, to create a beam or plate or I don't know, loads. They are not there, but for the editing of the structure, some settings, dimensionings, results, working with project and so on, this is everything in the main menu. Then there is a new very important component, which is SCIA Spotlight. This is some extended input line. I will explain later all the functions of them. Over on the top of this SCIA Spotlight, you see the name of the project. In this small area, you can close the project and open another project. On the right top side, you see the status bar. The status bar contains, for example, load cases, a lot of settings of measurements, dimensioning, and so on, and also the selected national code and the national annex. On the right side, there is a property panel. This is some extended property window from the preview versions. On the right bottom side, on the corner, you see the view bar. So everything about the settings, how you see the structure on the screen. On the bottom row of the bottom line of the screen, you see the input panel, so everything you want to create in the structure. Also, for example, mesh refinements, sections, integration strips, so everything what will be created is here. And the left bottom side contains the process toolbar. The process toolbar is fully customizable, so you can exchange or delete all icons which are there. Then on the right left side, you will see later, if you have results, the description of the results. Then we have the right mouse button. It was also before there. And there is the 3D scene. This is the structure what you see on your screen. So. And these are all these components in a brief overview. Now we are live in SCIA Engineer. This is not anymore a PowerPoint presentation. First, I would like to explain how you can move these components on your screen. So you can simply take it with the mouse, with the left mouse button, and take it somewhere in your screen. You have to be in your screen, so you cannot move it on another screen at the moment. You can dock it on the boundary of your screen, and you see a rosa strip. That means this will be docked, but the width of this component you can decide, so you can change the width. If you go more on the boundary, then you see this blue strip. That means this will be docked on the boundary, but on the full length of the boundary. Then, for example, I can move the project data. On the left side, you see also this rosa strip, the blue strip. The blue strip means it goes from top to this input line. And you can go more on the left side, and then you see a green strip, and you are going then over the full length of your screen. So you have three colors: rosa, blue, and green. So you can test it a little bit. So I go back and I go with this green strip over the full height of my screen, and this one I can take back. So this is about moving. Then this user interface, the settings of this user interface, you can save it. You can go to this eye, this is the view menu, there is a user configuration. You can save your user settings, load user settings, and restore defaults. There is one file where the recent settings are saved. Also, if you don't save it, then they are saved in a file. This file, the name of this file is user.config, and you see on the screen the location of this file. Then, if you want to work in version 21, but with the old user interface, you have to start SCIA Engineer Legacy. You find it in the window menu, in the start menu of Windows. Then you go to SCIA Engineer 21, and then you find SCIA Engineer 21 Legacy. If you want to start it with the exe file on your hard disk, then esa.exe is the legacy user interface, this old one, and sciaengineer.exe is the new user interface. In the left top corner, you see the main menu. So I will not go over all this menu. Have project, edit, results, some editing, and so on. There is editing here, modify, view settings, libraries, and help. Help is important. For the start, please go through this onboarding session. You find also concrete and steel tutorial. And there is also knowledge center in SCIA Engineer, kc.scia.net knowledge center, where you find a tutorial, and there is also tutorial for the new user interface, so you can read everything about this new user interface. I think it's an interesting thing. Then in the main menu, of course, you can click on all these commands. On the right side of each command, I don't know if each command, but maybe almost all, you see an area where you can create your shortcut. And shortcuts are very important in this new user interface. This can really speed up your work. For example, to open report, engineering report manager. So I click there, push Ctrl P. Again, Ctrl P. My keyboard is not very well. And push enter. So don't move the mouse during you push the keys. Don't move the mouse outside of this area. And after you define your shortcut, push enter. So if you want to delete this shortcut, then simply go to the command, go here and push enter, and then the command is deleted. So again, report here, Ctrl P and enter. So if such shortcuts already exist, then the old one will be rewritten. So you don't get some message. It will be simply exchanged. Okay, then you have these settings where you can the settings load and save. Then there are global settings of the user interface. This could be very important for you. There are two types of rendering which are commonly used. This is hardware OpenGL and hardware OpenGL full. This full one was added, I don't know, 3 years ago, because in OpenGL hardware is not all components was rendered on your graphic cards. Some of the components was rendered on the processor, and this was the reason. The effect was that for big models, if you have selected some part of the model, then it was slow. So if you go to OpenGL full and you leave the settings, then is this the settings for pen width is 2 pixels. And if you have the standard color settings, I restore the standard settings, then all these axial lines are really a little bit thick. So, and if you select something, you don't really see if it is selected or not. So therefore, you can go to the global settings and increase the thickness of the selected, of the line of selected members. Then, so, and if you select it, then you see it a little bit better. So you can increase it a little bit more. The important function is end function. So if you want to finish some command, you can click with the right mouse button if this checkbox is activated. And this is almost everything what is interesting here. There are some paths for the directories and the language settings and so on. The license cannot be changed directly in SCIA Engineer. If you want to change something with the license, you have to go to the Start menu to SCIA Engineer 21, and there is this license settings. I have German Windows, sorry. License settings. This is the file lockman.exe. It's located in the SCIA Engineer program folder. You can also see it if you start a new project or if you go to the project manager, project browser, then there is also this protection settings where you can find it. On the top of the screen, there is this SCIA Spotlight. This is an extended command line. Why is it so interesting? You can write commands, and if you don't know the name of your command, then write something similar. So you have to write at least some three letters from your command. For example, view, and you see all commands where this word view is included. You can create the shortcuts. For example, I very often during the presentations have to change the view from top to front, left side and so on, axonometry, from axial to shaded model, to volume model. So I have some commands defined, for example, view from the front side. This is view in Y direction. Where is it? This is simply 1. So you don't need to create shortcuts with Control or Alt. You can use some letter of your keyboard. For example, from the left side is 2. And I would say the axonometrical, where is it? There must be some, usually if I do this presentation, I don't see. View direction axonometry is 3. And then I have, for example, volume. Toggle volumes is the V. Then I have, for example, shaded model. Shaded. Toggle shading is S, for example. And transparent is T. So, and now I can 1, 2, 3 change V for volumes, S for shaded model, T for transparent. So you can very quickly drive SCIA Engineer. Of course, you are not doing presentations like me. You mainly, for example, create structure. So create shortcuts for commands like beam, plate. You could plate or beam. There is beam or 1D member. 1D member is Control B, but you can change it. You can use it or you can change it. I also very often use the commands for the visibility to see. It was in the past the activity. Okay, this was the shortcuts. What you have also here is, for example, I look for mesh. mesh settings, where is it? In the main menu. If this command is located in the main menu, you can click on this show me, and then the location of this command is displayed, and you can click also here. You can change the shortcut or whatever you want. Okay, this is everything about this command line. If you want to activate command line, you can press space, then the command line is activated, or you can click here. If you want to delete everything what is here, you can simply click on clear. On the top of the command line, you see the name of your project. With this X, you can close the project, and with this plus, you can open a new project. In the right top corner, there are located the load cases, but not only load cases. If you are working with some model with dynamics, for example, or model modificators, then you can change also the mass group, or for example, these modificator groups here. Then you have snapping. Snapping is important, was important also in the past. There is one interesting button. This is this magnet snapping. That means I deactivate the volumes. If I want to create, if I want to create a 1D member from this point, I cannot click somewhere in the scene. I can only select nodes that already exist. And it must be only nodes, all snap points can be selected. You see this middle point you can select. Then we have tracking. If you want to use tracking, I go again to 1D member and want to draw a member from here 1.5 meter in the right direction, but there is also .grid activated, so I don't want to have it. So I want to go 1.5 meter. You have to activate the spotlight, the input line. So press space and write 1.5 and enter. And then and the right mouse button or escape to finish the command. And then you have one member which is 1.5 meter long. With the right mouse button you can go to coordinates info and check the coordinates is 1.5 meter. I will delete it. Delete is delete. It's the button delete. Okay. Then, so these are all these settings. Normal and tangent, so orthogonal and tangent is no one button. And I think that's everything. Then you have the coordinate system. This is old menu, unit settings, refresh. We have no automatic refreshing. If you activate it, then it's green. And then if you are in results and you change, for example, from bending moment to axial force, then immediately you change something in the property panel, then the results are drawn on your screen. You can lock results after the calculation and you can change the structure and you still see the results. Of course, after you made the changes, you have to recalculate the structure manually. And then is the grid mode. So I go here and activate the grid, and I want to change the grid. I cannot activate it and cannot change it because it's hidden. It's only for the snap points. In the old user interface there was menu, grid and stories, 3D grid and stories, but no, it's not there. So if you want to go to grid, you have to activate this grid mode. You see this text, then you can click on your grid. You can create new grids. They are in this input panel, and you can change simply the grid if you want, or delete. And with escape you go out. Don't forget to close this grid mode, because in this case you cannot select some beams. You can select only grid if you are in the grid mode. But if you start some command, for example, to add 1D member, then this grid mode is automatically deactivated. Then you have scales for the input data and the results. You can move this slider, but you can also write the number. So you can write simply here 1, and you are back in your settings, and of course the code and the national annex. On the right side, we see also the property panel. It's not property window, it's property panel now. If you select something, then you see a lot of object types you have selected. I have selected 26 members, nodes, some hinges, supports, and so on. If you don't want to have it selected, you can simply take it and move it to the right, and then there is this basket, and you can simply drag it on this basket, and then it's deselected. And now I have only the beams selected. The beams have also additional data like hinges, loads, and I don't know, buckling settings and so on. So you can simply go there on the hinges, and you can change all hinges in these selected members. So this is new. There is also filter function, but it's a little bit hidden. If you select some member, then you get the properties of the member. You see only the basic properties because we have this, what is it, basic panel. You can click here to advanced panel, then you see everything. And if you want to select, for example, all beams with the same cross section, simply click with the right mouse button on the property and go to expand selection, and then all 88 beams with the same cross section are selected. And now, for example, I can simply change all hinges on these purlins. You can also work on opposite way. With Ctrl A, I select everything, and then I go to cross section, for example, to this one, click with the right mouse button and say subtract from selection. And all these beams will be removed from the selection. Also these columns. So you can work on different ways, or you can say in this purlins, right mouse button, isolate, and they are only selected. So how you want to work. There are more possibilities. If you want to select something, not by clicking, but you know the name, for example, of the object, then, for example, this object have the name pf.102, then I want to select all beams with the name pf and something. Then I write cell space pf and star, and then all pf beams are selected. So I think that's everything about this project data. There is also this hamburger menu, but for the property panel it's not very important. There are another menus where it's more important. In the right bottom corner you see this view bar, and also this on the left side, this process bar, have this small symbol. This symbol shows in which direction the main menu is going, or this line is going, so you can rotate it. Then you have some symbols, which you can simply click on it, and here are the all view settings. So if you want to change something in the structure, for example, I would like to have the names of the beams there, then of course you can go here, toggle member labels, but you can also go to this view settings. For example, I use the shortcut Ctrl E, and then if you write Ctrl E, then you have this all these settings. You can go to the labels, for example, beam labels, beam name, cross section type. I want to see cross section type, and then you see the cross section type of your members. You can deactivate it also here, and there is this dot grid and line grid. So yes, I think that's everything here. This is not so yes, and there is the Navicube, you know Navicube also from preview versions and from another software. You can simply click on one side, move it, click on the corner, for example, whatever you want. Okay, that was about the view bar. Then we have a very interesting component. This is a completely new component. This is this input panel. What you can do with it. So first I am working on the way that I have it on the bottom side. I want to see all icons. If you want to see all icons, you go to all workstation, all categories and all tags. And then you see everything what you can input in your model. Of course, you can simplify it. If you are working, for example, in loads, then go here and you go to, no, it's here in workstation, in loads. And you see everything about the loads. You can move this panel. For example, I have seen it also on the left side at some customers. This is not very nice what you see, but you can go to this hamburger menu and deactivate the icon mode. If you do it and you have enough width of this, you see, then if it's short or width, then you see all commands also with the descriptions, and you can also activate categories, and then you see split it all these commands to some categories. So this is also one way how you can work. And then you go, for example, I am in loads or line loads, and you see only line loads, all workstations, and for example, model or pre-stressing, what could be 2D members. I would see only 2D members. So I go back. All categories, all workstations, deactivate headers, activate the icon mode, and go to the bottom of my screen. So with this blue line. So this is how I'm working. On the left side, there is a process toolbar. You can move this process toolbar. You can simply take it on in some another corner. I don't know why, but it's possible. Because on the left top corner there are this result information. So I think this is a good place. Where is it? You can change the direction. You can change for example, the main bar is going horizontal. So if I simply click on some of them, for example, results, the results are horizontal. If I want to activate something vertical, for example, the steel dimensioning, then I have to push Control button and click on steel, and then the steel is vertical. So with Control, you activate the toolbar for this orthogonal direction, and we simply click for this main direction. Then we have also this hamburger menu, and in this hamburger menu you can activate or deactivate these workstations. For example, interesting is this My Workstation. You cannot activate everything. I think 2 of them have to be deactivated because there is not enough place in this circle. But the main workstation is important, and you can activate the main workstation. You can also create symbols or delete symbols here. For example, I have here the activity. How is the name? Visibility is not activity. Toggle visibility. I take this command and move it to this process toolbar. And then the next one, visibility, for example, hide unselected. And then I want to have also, for example, draw invisible members. And I would like to have this draw invisible member in same row. And then you see this chamfer in this corner, and that means that you have also some sub symbols. If you want to delete some symbol from this bar, simply take it to the basket. So, and on this way you can create your own bars. You can take it also from the command line. For example, 1D member. I go and move it here. So all commands from here or from here. I don't know if also from here. No, from the input line, from the spotlight, and from the main menu can be created here in the process toolbar. If you want to calculate the structure, then you can go to calculation mesh, but the calculation is also this symbol, and with the right mouse button you activate the hidden calculation. This is for nonlinear calculation. They take a longer time, and then some windows pop up and you can hide these pop-up windows. Okay, I think this is almost everything about the components. Some questions from the trainings I have seen. Where I can save other settings. These main settings of the new user interface can be saved here. And other settings have own buttons to save. Some of them will be saved in the Windows registry library. And this is, for example, these colors. If you change the colors, for example, I use the white background and I use thin line for the axis. If I want to save it, save user store user settings, then you don't get a question about a file where you want to save it. That means it's saved in Windows registry for the user which is now working on the computer. Some of the settings, for example, mesh settings, calculation mesh settings, will be also saved, and they are saved in the file with the name set, with the extension set, so you can save it. And there are also another settings, for example, these view settings can be also saved. Here you get another name, VFX. So some of the settings can be saved in names, in files with names, some in the registry database, and the user setting in the config file. All these settings are of course saved with the project. So you can simply have your project with your settings. From the preview version, open this project and click on save everywhere, and then you save your user settings. Okay, I hope it was interesting for you. Please read also the manual, try with it, and I hope you will like this new user interface. Maybe you see some another videos. Bye, thank you.